Well, good evening. How is everyone doing? And once again, I am back with another Morning Glory Apostolic Prophetic Center video. And tonight, we're going to talk about it's time. It's time. And what God was revealing to me while I was trying to lay down is that a lot of us have uneasiness in our spirit. A lot of us are ready to move on to whatever the next level is. A lot of us are becoming easily irritated and annoyed with certain things. So what God was telling me, he said, tell him it's time. And it's time that a separation is about to begin. Many of you, because of who you are in God and where you are in God, you have to make sure that the separation that some of you experience, that is not a separation to more of the world. Over these past years, as I've uh, uh, been a servant of the gospel, I actually can sense and feel the fear that God has for many of you. And when I talk about the fear that God has, is that many of you are who think that you're so into God that you're missing that He has no clue of who you really are. We're going to be in John chapter 15. And what's interesting about John chapter 15, even before I got ready to go live, the Bible always talks about John was the disciple that Jesus loved. But it's interesting to note that we're in John chapter 15, and 15 is oftentimes representative of the of rest. What many of you are experiencing, God is finna give you rest. You either gonna rest in the things of the world, or you going to rest in the presence of God. So there's a separate. So when He said it's time, that's because there's a separation about to happen. And for many of you, you're going to understand why people are not going to talk to you anymore. You're going to understand why people just going to let you do what you want to do. Because in order for God to give you rest, He got to let you know that He's going to let you have what you want to have. And a lot of us, we crying, Lord, Lord, but we don't have that relationship with Him. John chapter 15, verse 1 says, I am the true vine, and my father is the husbandman. Every branch in me that bears not fruit, He taketh away. And every branch that bears fruit, He purged it that it may bring forth more fruit. So what many of you got to understand, Christ, you have to be connected to Christ to grow. What you got to understand by His Father is the husbandman, is that even though that you connected to Christ so that you can go, God is the one that knows when you're ready to go. A lot of you are in ministry prematurely. A lot of you are taking leadership roles in ministries prematurely. A lot of you have started ministry prematurely. a lot of you are trying to operate in your gift prematurely. And the reason it's prematurely is that because for many of you, you still need to go to somebody else for confirmation, for clarification, for understanding, for wisdom. One thing you gonna know when you ready for ministry, it's nothing wrong with asking for help. But if you are asking for more help than standing on your own, you're premature. You didn't pass the class. You didn't collect $200. You just went because you wanted the $200. So here Jesus says, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he taketh away. Come tomorrow on the 15th, the way that you pattern your day is the day that's your rest gonna start. If you're a liar, you're gonna be rest in the spirit of lying. If you're a fornicator, you're gonna rest in the spirit of fornication. If you're a praiser, you're gonna rest in the spirit of praising. If you're a teacher, you're gonna rest in teaching. Because what he's looking for, every branch in me that beareth not fruit, he take it away. Now, what fruit? Look at how long you had a relationship with Christ. How many people have you really brought to Christ? Look at how long you've been talking Christ. Look how long it takes you to obey Christ. Are you really confident in him? See, fruit is not always people. Fruit is who you are when you say you love God. We talked yesterday. If you call to preach, why you ain't preaching? Why you got to wait till pastor give you a day? Why you got to wait till pastor tell you ready? Why you got to preach what that pastor tell you to preach? It's time for some of y'all to stand on your own. So he's looking at your life and he's evaluating what have you brought to the kingdom. He's evaluating how many times you that you debated, you argue, or you disobeyed kingdom instructions. But you say you're a child of the king. And every branch that bear fruit, he purges it that it bring forth more fruit. Some of y'all, God is fascinated with. So you're about to be purged. What does that mean? That means in some of your spirits, you ain't moving to certain places because you just want to go there. See, you got to get you a plant. And when you look at that plant and that vine grow, you can cut that vine off and you can stick it in some more water or some more dirt and you water it and that vine begin to grow. See, the reasons God is giving you some of them, giving the oppression of some of you to move. It might be in another state. It might be in another town. It might be in another city. It might be even across the street. But he has to plant you somewhere because you about to see God in your life like you never seen him before. And you're going to bring fruit out of what you already learned. Verse 3 says, now you are clean through the words which I have spoken unto you. Abide in me, and I in you, as the branch cannot bear fruit of itself except it abide in the vine. No more can ye except you abide in me. Please don't get the big head. You gonna get these new houses, y'all gonna get these new cars, you gonna get these new jobs, you gonna get this new man, you might get this new woman, some of you gonna get married, and you gonna see your life come to the point where it's supposed to be. Don't get the big head. Don't do the Juanita Bynum. Don't do the Sarah Jakes. Don't do the Brian Carr. You got to stay in Christ. Because for so long, when God puts a lot of us in a place that he can bless us, we get that money and we think we better than everybody else. We get that new we get that new house and we look down on everybody else. See, the reason some of you might be getting new houses with your own land, because in the back of your house, you gonna go rent one of them little tiny houses, and somebody gonna need a place to stay. And guess what? I got a room for you. But see, y'all ain't like that. Y'all want that big old swimming pool. You want that giant gazebo. You got to understand that the next move you make, it has to be kingdom friendly. Which means at any time that you think about yourself, about what you want, about what you need to do, guess what? You ain't gonna be able to bear no more fruit. You gonna be one of them ones walking around here preaching about God, saving people, and you gonna be unsaved yourself. Cause see, you do know God will use you even when he ain't using you. I think the old folks used to say God is the only God that'll fire you and still let you work. That's why the Bible says you gonna say, Lord, Lord, have I done this? Have I done that? He gonna say, give away from me, you worker of iniquity. Verse 5 says, he said, I am the vine. You are the branches. He that abideth in me, and I in him, the same bringeth forth much fruit. For without me, you can't do nothing. Quit thinking people want you for who you are. People want you for what you can do for. You know how you gonna know if people want you for who you are or what they're gonna do for you? They're gonna tell you what God wants for you. A woman or a man, for that instance, they can't tell me what God wants for me before they tell me what they want from me. They ain't good for me. Hurt your feelings, did you? Oh, we played a game. I can do such and such. A lot of you not in God. I told y'all it will come a point you ain't got no relationship with God. You got a delusional attachment to God. See, it's a shame if a man can get you in bed before he can get you to God. Verse 6. If a man abide not in me, he is cast forth as a branch and is withered. And men gather them and cast them in fire, and they are burned. If you abide in me and my words abide in you, You shall ask what you will, and it shall be done unto you. That's why I told a lot of you, you need to check to see if God hears you. Hey, did nobody try? You know why didn't nobody really try? Because you know in yourself God don't hear you. Because you know in yourself you ain't got no relationship with God. But now it's time for you to walk the walk or the talk you be talking. We got to see that power. We got to see if you really called to preach, prophesy, evangelize, teach. Because see, all those things, you're going to have to deny yourself. And a lot of y'all can't deny yourself because God got you in a position you ain't gotten in the offer anyway. Verse 8. Herein is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, so shall ye be my disciples. Tonight we taking inventory. Taking inventory. If you ain't got no fruit, you can't be around us. You can't be around us. Cause watch this. That's like y'all coming to the barbecue. You ain't brought no meat, but you got 10 plates to take out. What have you put into the kingdom that is verifiable that you did it because you love God? What have you not done for the kingdom because you thought more of yourself than you thought of God? How is God glorified in you when you steady complaining? Man to man, woman to woman. When I'm gonna get married? When you gonna send me a man? How is that glorifying the kingdom? God, I need a job. Verse 10. Verse 9. As the Father have loved me, so have I loved you. Continue ye in my love. If you keep my commandments, ye shall abide in my love. Even as I have kept my Father's commandment and abide in his love. See, what he's saying there is that obedience is better than sacrifice. That's where the scripture came from. How you love God and you won't follow his commandments. You won't follow his instruction. You don't follow his wisdom. You're moved by your carnal, fleshly desires. But then you want God to approve of the wrong move you made. Now you want to cuss the man and the woman out because that's what you wanted for you and not what God wanted for you. So now that you've been used and abused and treated like a fool, now you want to cuss them out for the decision you made. The things have I spoken unto you, that my joy might remain in you, and that your joy might be full. This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love had no man than this, that a man lay down his life for his friend. How can you have a relationship with God and the people that you claim you love are no longer around you? But you looking for love. Make it make sense. Love one another as I have loved you. Hmm. That means God never gave up on us. We didn't gave up on people, places, and things. So how you joyful when you done left who you say you love, but now you looking for love, which means you're not joyful because you're looking for something to bring you joy. Love is fin to be. I'm just gonna have to say it. Love finna kill a lot of y'all. That man in Mississippi, he killed his mama and his two sisters on Mother's Day. He loved them. Man down in Atlanta, he strangled a woman, killed her, called his wife and a couple of friends to help move the body, went to Tennessee and burnt it. You know what he did? He loved her. The reason love kills is because the kind of love they loving is actually lust. It's lust. Because we quick to say, God, I don't want no man, I don't want no man, I want you. But the first nigga that give us attention, or we all over it. The first woman that call us handsome, we all over it. The Bible said, let patience have its perfect work. But because some of y'all feel so abandoned, feel so thrown away, feel so left out, that you gravitate and grab anything that can feed your flesh. Ye are my friends if you do whatsoever I command you. That's verse 14. Henceforth I call you not servants, for servants knoweth not what his Lord does. But I have called you friends, for all things that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Did I tell y'all the aliens coming and everybody called me crazy until the government had a whole discourse on the aliens that they got? Did I just tell y'all that a robber, whatever it called, you know I can't pronounce the name, I'm country. Last year, August the 23rd, I said when y'all see them Alaska lights in places they ain't supposed to be seen, I said that's God's sign that Jesus is about ready to come back. Because what y'all seen last Saturday ain't nowhere in the world that you supposed to see that all the way in Texas, in Georgia, whatever. That means the world shifted. Why ain't God told you nothing? You fast, you pray, for the servant know not what his Lord does. But I call you free. For all things that I heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. Why you ain't God friend and you been knowing him for 20, 30, 40 years? I'm really just 20 some years in the game. But you know, I grew up going to church. I'm gonna give you a pass. How you gonna know God for more than 5 years and God hadn't become your friend yet? He ain't telling you the secrets that you need to hear. Something wrong. Something wrong. You ain't even a servant. Because you won't even do what God tell you to do. You do what you want to do and call it God. The things that I command you, verse 17, that you love one another. If the world hates you, you know that it hated me before it hated you. Does the world hate you? Of course it don't. You wearing their design, you wearing their hair, you wearing their makeup, you wearing their clothes, you buying their Jordans. Where is it that you stand out that you're a child of God? You following the culture. You following trends. You following the world. How they hate you and you just like them. Now you see why people don't go in these buildings no more. Because all in there is the world. 19 says, if ye were of the world would love his own. But because you are not of the world, but I have chosen you out of the world, therefore the world hates you. Remember the word that I said unto you, the servant is not greater than his Lord. If they have persecuted me, they will also persecute you. If they have kept my saying, they will keep yours also. You've been preaching the gospel, ain't nobody cussed you out. Ain't nobody lied on you. Ain't ain't nobody try to talk about you. Ain't nobody tell you how to run your ministry and they ain't even in ministry. That's why you can leave church and go in the world and the people can't they can't tell no difference. That's why you can lead the praise team and go on the block and stroll with the AKAs because to them is no difference. The reason why God said call it it's time because it's got to be a difference between the world and the church. And many of you ain't gonna make it because you're living for the life of the world. You ain't living for God. You living for the things that God can give you so you can look good in the world. That's why you got to go buy them fake purses and fake designers because you really ain't got nothing, but you got to look like you got it. You know, every time you buy that stuff, you know what you're telling God? God, you taking too long to bless me. God, I don't think you can take care of me. So you go buy something beneath the faith that you claim. How you around here carrying a crocodile Birkin bag and behind on your rent? Why the church van got to come pick you up and you carrying a leather 3-figure purse? That what his name? Alexander O'Neill. You are fake. You are fake. Why would God give you revelation? Then he goes on, the servant is not greater than his Lord. I ain't better than nobody, but I just don't play no games. I play with you, but I don't play about my relationship with God. I say it all the time. I'm doing all this. I don't even know if I'm going to make it to heaven, but I don't play about it. I might go to hell like some of y'all, and I'm trying to keep you out of there and tell you, and some of you, I'm telling you heading that way. I ain't perfect, but I'm consistent. Y'all running around here worrying about a man and a woman, and you ain't even consistent in the things of God. So do you really think God will bring a godly man or a godly woman in your life and you ain't even consistent in God, you're delusional. But all these things will they do unto you for my name's sake, because they know not him that sent me. That's verse 21. If I had not come and spoke to them, they had not had sin, but now they have no cloak for their sin. He that hated me hated my Father also. I like that scripture. See, the reason they hate me is that I'm pulling the cover off their sin. See, when you they had a cloak for their sin, which means ignorance. But when God called you to preach the gospel of truth, then I'm going to take that cloak. Because, see, you can't say you ignorant of it. I don't care if you want 30-inch hair, 36-inch hair. I don't care about your makeup. I'm telling you, don't get comfortable in sin, because when God convicts you of not to wear that, you won't listen to the Spirit, because that has become who you are. Ain't nothing in my life that I can't get rid of if God tell me to get rid. I'm not attached to nothing. Attached to nothing. See, I had to get rid of friends that I was attached to. See, it's something to know people for 10, 15, 20 years, and you constantly calling them friends, and then on to realize you was a friend in them, they were never a friend to you. That's why God had to expose all your day ones, all the people you'll do anything for, just to know that when it came down them to choose between you and God, they can't handle the choice. So notice everybody that went through whatever they went through. When you chose God, the people that didn't have a real heart for God, they left you. They left you. That's what's the deciding factor in your life. But the problem is, we wanted them, but they wouldn't want God. We wanted them and God. So you had to make them a choice. I got to have God before I had them. That's why I don't care about nobody calling me false. Prove it. Call me what you want to call me. But what you can't say is whatever God releases through me or tell me to say, you can't say that it was not God. Can you do that? If I had not done among them the works which no other man did, they had not had sin. But now they have both sinned and hated both me and my Father. But this comes to pass that the word might be fulfilled that is written in the law. They hated me without a cause. People hate me because I free people. They hate me because I tell the truth. My family hate me because I tell the truth. Yeah, I had a wife that hated me because I told the truth. I don't care about being hated. I just don't want to be overlooked by God. But watch this. I just said I don't even know if I'm going to heaven, but I'm going to preach this gospel. See, that's the difference between me and you. Some of y'all preaching to get rewards. I'm preaching because I ain't got nothing else to do. I didn't. To me, I think I done it all and tried it all. And ain't nothing more fulfilling to know that God is real. Ain't nothing more fulfilling for God to show you the supernatural. See, I had somebody write me one time and said when we reach a certain level of maturity, that's how we should act. I may not be mature in the flesh, but guess what? I'm mature in the spirit. And guess what? The Bible says the spirit overrules the flesh. I I might play all the time, according to some people. I might tell jokes. I might I might be aggravated. That's the flesh. But what am I in the spirit? I don't care about being matured in the flesh because in this flesh dwelleth no good thing. That's what your word say. I rather dwell in the spirit anyway. He goes on to verse 26 and said, but when the comforter is come, whom I will send unto you from the Father, even the Spirit of truth, which proceeded from the Father, he shall testify of me. And ye also shall bear witness, because you have been with me from the beginning. It's separation time. No put in, no get. You got to prove your relationship with God if you're going to be around me. I don't care if you know the Bible from front to back. I don't care if you read the book of Enoch. I don't care if you know what it means in Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. I don't care if you read every concordance. When you get through, I'm going to be saying, okay, where your power? What good is book knowledge and you ain't got no power? You'll never find me paying $20,000 and $30,000 to go to school just to be called doctor. Get a doctorate of how can you get a doctorate of divinity and you don't even know if God real? I ain't got nothing with going to school. That's what you want to do. But see, when you meet the man that gives wisdom unabraded, why would I pay 40, 50, 60, $70,000 to go to school or pay somebody to learn the Bible that I can get it from him for free? You didn't even catch what I said. You don't even know if you know God because all you know in the Bible. He haven't even taught you nothing. And you wonder why your prayers ain't answered. Because you ain't in the vine. That's why it's dangerous to be around here listening to 20, 30, 40 prophets, 100 pastors, 800 apostles. Then you got social media influence. Then you got your Steve Harvey. Then you got your Ricky Smiley. You get information from everywhere. No wonder your spirit is a cesspool. Everybody shooting their load at you. And you full of loads. And guess what? You can't carry none of them. Because you ain't got no power. So tomorrow, you got to make up your mind. You want God or the world? What you lacking? And for a lot of you ain't got peace. You ain't got no peace. That's why we talked about condemnation yesterday. You still trying to figure out why something happened to you. I ain't got to know why something happened to me. All I know is God real, and I'm just gonna keep moving forward in God. He ain't got to tell me why ain't something happened to me. And you know what? That's the end of my orange pineapple. So you know that's the end of this message.